We Australians are creative. I would like to welcome all the distinguished guests, poets, writers, media personnel, sponsors, supporters, and politicians, community organizations, representatives, all the councillors who are here, all the organizational office bearers. Most of the organizations' office bearers are also among us. I would like to welcome each and every individual on behalf of WAKI. I would like to introduce a little bit about the WAKI. WAKI, We Australians Are Creative Incorporation. This organization is a not-for-profit organization. And WAKI, the main purpose and objective of this WAKI establishment was to networking in Australia about the people who are creative, who are in the creative field, and everyone knows that creativity has no boundaries, no borders, limitations, regions, colors, racial differences, nationalities, religion, or any other barriers human erected around themselves. The creativity is above all of these things. In WAKI, we share and network creativity with established as well as new artists. Another aspect of WAKI is to support emerging creative artists to promote their work and arrange creative networking. About today's program, we are here to celebrate the power of poetry and rhythm. And everyone knows about the power of poetry in Hindi or Urdu perspective. But in English also, it has been played a very, very important role in all aspects of human life, whether it's individuality or its sorrow, grief, loss, separation, political situation, society's issues, everything has been reflected, covered by the poetry, by the poets, and they have very beautifully put the words around all these things. The UNESCO, United Nations Scientific and Cultural Organization proclaimed March 21 as World Poetry Day in order to celebrate one of the humanity's most treasured forms of cultural, linguistic, and theatrical expression and identity. This is what we are celebrating today. Poetry has a power to capture and communicate a message like no one form of art can do. A poem can speak to important issues that all human beings care about: love, loss, inspiration, and so much more. Poetry, let us positively share our feelings. Many of us feel angry, frustrated, sad, or fearful from time to time. However, because these feelings are unpleasant, we often keep them locked up inside of us. Writing and reading poetry help us let these feelings out and also better understand them. A combination of rhythmic verses can take us by hand and lead us to a divine manifestation. It can teach us how to love and how would want to be loved. It can serve as a moral parable, and it can mobilize a generation's people to protest. A rich array of poetry will be showcased in form of theatrical, dramatic expression for communal harmony, peace, and tranquility. So this is the poetry power. We just, since 1947, Pakistan came into existence. And several of the poets who stood to say poetry or write poetry against the military power, like Faiz Ahmad Faiz, Ahmad Faraz, they were put behind bar for years by the military rulers. I'm not saying about political things, but what I'm saying, this is the power of poetry. It can put everyone to the notice with any issues, and they are so powerful. Even the Indian subcontinent, Urdu shairi, Urdu poetry play a very, very important role in the liberation of India against the colonial power. This is the brief introduction of some of the power of poetry. Still, the governments in our own country, back home, they are so scared of poets. Still in India, some of the poets are very scared. They rarely dare to open their mouth or put words about the different situations the society is going through. So these are the things, and it's good to know that this program is the first of its kind in Australia, where we will demonstrate the power of poetry, and we have include different aspect of poetry, like in English. We will hear here in Punjabi, and there are other poets in Bengali as well. And we will enjoy in their aspect. I know about the Urdu, Hindi, and the power we are watching, still we are noticing in our back home country. And we will listen with them about the English, how and what important role it has played in the society. And there are a couple of other programs followed after this. One is musical performance by Taneem Hayat Khan. Second is poetry presentation, book launch, then acknowledgement of the sponsors, short film, Cheetah, and musical elements of rhythm of Qawwali. And we will try our best to wrap up this program by 8:30 or 8:35. Now I would like to introduce Taneem Hayat Khan. He is a very talented and creative musician who play an instrument called sarod. Mr. Taneem is a very talented, creative and skilled musician who play instrument called sarod. Taneem Hayat Khan is the 4th generation musician of Sania Meher Gharana, the Gharana created by his grandfather, Ustad Baba Alauddin Khan, recipient of the National Award of India, Padam Bhushan and Padam Vibhushan. Taneem continued the legacy of playing the Indian classical instrument sarod. Please welcome Tareen. Listen and enjoy his mesmerizing music. Mr. Tareen.
Good evening, everyone. I'm playing Rag Nandaghosh, which is Evening Raga. Just playing a shorter version today because of the time constraints. Just Alap and Joe. Thank you very much.
And may I now please request our lovely young man here, Usher, to take the stage.
I would like to begin by thanking the Neem uncle one more time, so a round of applause, please. I'd like to acknowledge the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders, who are the traditional custodians of this land. I'd also like to pay my respect to elders past, present and emerging of the Pandra land on which we stand upon today. So before I introduce myself, I would also like to acknowledge everybody here today, parliamentary leaders and representatives. My name is Asha Zahir. I'm 11 years old and in year 6. Many of you are probably wondering what I am doing here today. Well, as all of you are aware, today is Harmony Day, and I'm here to present a speech on how poetry promotes harmony and peace. So in my class, there are many ethnicities where everybody works together and plays together happily. But I've realized as we grow older, we start getting more hurtful and we start hurting people. And I've also noticed, is there a way to reverse this? Is there a way to counter this? Well, I know of one way, and that is by using the power of words and poetry. Let me explain. In today's turbulent world, poetry is a powerful medium to express our thoughts and feelings. What I mean by this is that poets use poetry to express how they feel about the world and their feelings about the world too. But what is this related to peace? How is this related to peace? Well, poets use these powerful words to explain their opinion and to convey their opinion on the world. Yeah? And when others hear this, they get inspired. They want to solve they want to hear this. They get inspired, so this opens dialogue. And when this does, we solve these problems. And when they convey these opinions and all this, we try to help them. And we try to solve all problems. And as we come together to solve them, this achieves peace and harmony. Secondly, poetry helps peace and harmony in other ways, in feeling, and it also helps us come together. Yeah? So, when others, for example, when, I forgot. When we celebrate all these differences, yeah, everybody has differences, everyone's different. But on Harmony Day, everyone's always the same. We always come together to help solve all these problems, right? Well, poetry helps this because poetry is the one that conveys all these opinions about all of these problems, and humanity hears these problems and they try to solve it. They work together, they come together and solve this. And yeah. That Can I please have another round of applause? Poetry can be transformative. It can describe how violence and hatred will only lead to self-destruction and chaos. What I mean by this is that when a poet presents their view on violence and hatred, it touches us deeply. Together, it inspires us to overcome violence and hatred and search for peace instead. For example, a poet describes the consequences of hatred. Through creative words, he communicates his concerns and promotes awareness and social change. Eventually, all hatred will be eradicated, and we will achieve peace. I would like to end this speech with a beautiful poetry by Kath Walker. It reads like this. Look up, my people, the dawn is breaking. The world is waking to a bright new day. So long we waited, bound and frustrated, till hate be hated and caste disposed. Now light shall guide us, no goal denied us, and all doors open which long were closed. The next segment will be done by Sarwat Zera. Sarwat Zera is a mass communications graduate from Delhi University, India. She has acted and presented in various serials and corporate shoots for channels like Doordarshan, ETV Urdu, and for brands like Sunflame, Samsung, etc. She worked as a freelancer in television for almost 6 years before arriving in Australia in 2017. She now works full-time in commercial property finance for a bank and often volunteer for media and cultural events. So I would like to welcome Sarwat Zera.
Thank you, Asher, and you were awesome. Very good. We are proud of you, and I'm sure everyone present here is equally proud. For those who don't know me, that was a very kind introduction, and I would have broken down Doordarshan for you if I knew you were doing the introduction, Asher. But for those who don't know me, just a few words to describe myself, that दिल में जो है वही ज़ुबान पर है, वरना और कोई हम में ख़ास बात नहीं. So, just to say that I am pretty open, and I'm trying to, I will be very open during presenting this segment today. I'm not going to take much of your time, ladies and gentlemen, and start by introducing all our wonderful 9 poets who we have with us today, and without whom, obviously, this event wouldn't have been complete. I will respect all the poets. I would actually request all the poets to begin arriving on stage while their name is being announced, just because we have got some time constraint here. Thank you very much. I'm going to start by introducing to you all Mr. Avijit Sarkar. He's a musician, composer, illustrator, cartoonist, writer, poet, philanthropist, and mathematician from Sydney. He was awarded the Australia Day Award 2020, and his contributions to art and culture has been tremendous. He was awarded the Australia Day Award 2020 for his contributions to arts and culture. Just a few lines for you, sir. Shukriya tera, tere aane se raunak to badhi, warna ye mehfil-e jazbaat thodi adhuri si reh jati. Welcome on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Avijit Sarkar. Our second poet on the list is Mr. Pankaj Upadhyay. He's a published poet, author, and an award-winning maverick filmmaker, producer, and voiceover artist. For the love of films, books, and music, he founded Euphony Films, a Sydney-based production house and a family entertainment portal that has produced several popular music videos and a variety of short films, working with local artists, government, and non-government bodies. Today, he will present his poem, Jadoo, and I quote, I penned this in 2016 when I was a first-time immigrant to Australia with an uncertain future. The poem is about hustling each day towards one's goals and emphasis. keeping spirits light when the sun is hard. As they say, this too shall pass. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Pankaj Upadhyay. Next we have on the list Ms. Hale Issel Koser. That's a Sydney-based teacher and poet amongst us, ladies and gentlemen. Her first volume of poetry, Hijabi in Jeans, was published by Guillotine Press in 2018. Her poems have been published in several anthologies and journals. She likes working on projects that are platforms where poetry meets the other art forms. It's a pleasure to have you with us, ladies and gentlemen. Please put your hands together for Ms. Koser. We also have with us Mr. Virat Nehru. He's a film critic, poet, lyricist, and screenwriter. He co-hosted a podcast on Hindi film songs, lyrics, and moonlight as a film programmer for film festival across Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Virat Nehru. Our next poet on the list is Shahana Chaudhry. She's a gifted poet, writer, and singer whose verses and prose capture the beauty and pain of life with a unique and eloquent voice. We welcome you all to join her on a journey of heart and mind. Welcome on stage, Shahana. Our next poet on the list is Mr. Luke Wayland, who was born in Sydney in 1962, and from the intro he provided to us, he appears as a family man. His wife's name is Susan, and he's blessed with 6 children. Unfortunately, one of them had died, which is indeed a great loss. Despite of the loss, he continues to write poems about people he has known and his issues and the issues that concerns him, such as peace, environment, and refugees. His poem today combined the 2 areas and is called One With Us. The poem about my father's translation, and I'm quoting him, about my father's translation of poems into English from Polish, his escape from Poland in 1939, his journey to Australia, and the need to welcome those who flee seeking refuge and safety today. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Luke Wayland. Next on the list is Mr. Vivek Kumar. He is an individual who is known for his humble and down-to-earth nature. ये तकरीबन 6 साल से ऑस्ट्रेलिया में रह रहे हैं और कविताएं, कहानियां और नाटक लिखते हैं. लिखने से ज़्यादा पढ़ते हैं और पढ़ने से ज़्यादा घूमते हैं. उनकी सारी जद्दोजहद जिंदगी को समझने में निकलती है. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Vivek Kumar. Our next poet is Mr. Sarkar Kabiruddin, who's been residing in Australia for the last 34 years. He graduated in Bangla literature and history and is extremely passionate about literature and creative writing. Photography is his prominent hobby. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome on stage Sarkar Kabiruddin. Sorry, all the poets, I've got my back towards you, not on purpose. Next on the list, we have got Mr. Mark Marusic, who has been writing poetry since the mid-1990s and has regularly presented poetry at a range of Sydney venues. Themes included in his writing is environment and home, and our relationships with these. He has self-published 2 books of poetry, mercurial meanderings and iconoclastic journeys, as well as co-publishing 3 anthologies, A Square Circle, Poets Consortium, Anthology of Poets at the Petersham Bowling Club. The title that he will share with us today is called We Are Watching This Together. Based on his experiences of watching on a big screen in Enmore Park of Australia versus Argentina's quarter-final match in the Men's Football World Cup in November 2022. We welcome on stage Mr. Mark Murisic. With this, as we now have all the poets on stage, I would declare the segment open and would like Mr. Abhijit Sarkar to begin the session. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure having you here and a pleasure sharing the stage with such lovely creative people. I would like to begin the session by reading a nazm. A nazm is a free form, a poetic form. And this nazm has been written by the famous creative Gulzar Saab. And I read this for a particular reason, that this evening is about harmony. The nazm is about harmony, friendship, and yet it ends on a note that shows the divisiveness of humanity and how divisive we can be if we want to be. The title of the nazm is Dastak. सुबह सुबह एक ख्वाब की दस्तक पर दरवाजा खोला, देखा सरहद के उस पार से कुछ मेहमान आए हैं। आंखों से मानूस थे सारे, चेहरे सारे सुने सुनाए, पांव धोए, हाथ धुलाए, आंगन में आसन लगवाए और तंदूर पे मक्की के कुछ मोटे मोटे रोट पकाए। पोटली में मेहमान मेरे पिछले सालों की फसलों का गुड़ लाए थे। पोटली में मेहमान मेरे पिछले सालों की फसलों का गुड़ लाए थे। आंख खुली तो देखा घर में कोई नहीं था। हाथ लगाकर देखा तो तंदूर अब तक बुझा नहीं था और होठों पर मीठे गुड़ का जायका अब तक चिपक रहा था। ख्वाब था शायद, ख्वाब ही होगा। सरहद पर कल रात सुना है चली थी गोली। सरहद पर कल रात सुना है कुछ ख्वाबों का खून हुआ है। Thank you. May I introduce Pankaj Upadhyay? Next,
The poem is about the magic of hustling. So carry your own music, cause life is a song. जादू, उफ, अब ये क्या है? कभी कभी लगता है इंसान अपनी परेशानियां शायद खुद ही ढूंढता है। नहीं तो मुझे देख लीजिए, कई गुत्थियों की पहेलियों को लेकर मैं न जाने कब से चल रहा हूँ। नहीं भाग रहा हूँ, नहीं शायद दौड़ रहा हूँ। ये देखिए और दौड़ रहा हूँ, पर ये गुत्थियाँ सुलझने के बजाय शायद और उलझती जा रही हैं। कि सुलझ रही हैं, यकीनन उलझ रही हैं। फिर सोचता हूँ छोड़ो इनको, ये क्या सुलझेंगी। जिंदगी का दूसरा नाम ही उलझन है। कभी ये कभी वो, कभी इसकी कभी उसकी, कभी मेरा, कभी तेरा, या कभी सिर्फ तेरा और मेरा। ना, जिंदगी क्या सुलझेगी, इन्हें इनके हालातों पे छोड़ दो। आप वो करें जो आपको करना है। आप दिन में सोना चाहते हैं तो सोए, किसने रोका है? आप रातों को जागना चाहते हैं तो जागे, किसने टोका है? और अगर कोई टोकता भी है तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है? फर्क पड़ता है? हाँ, शायद पड़ता है। आप खुद की सुने और दिल की करें। यकीनन ये जिंदगी को सुलझाने से तो आसान है। जिए, जी भर के जिए। कुछ खुद के लिए जिए और कुछ खुद के लिए करें, और करते चले। फिर रात होगी, फिर दिन होगा, फिर रात होगी, फिर दिन होगा। होने दे, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? फिर एक दिन अचानक एक रोशनी अपने आप दूर से दिखाई देगी। वो अचानक आएगी और अचानक ही सब कुछ आसान हो जाएगा। चीजें साफ दिखने लगेंगी। जिन गुत्थियों ने नाक में दम कर रखा था वो अपने आप सुलझने लगेंगी। आपको लगेगा ये तो कमाल है, जैसे कोई जादू। ये अपने आप कैसे ठीक हो गया? मैंने तो सोचना भी छोड़ दिया था। वाह, ये जादू है, सचमुच जादू। फिर लगेगा जब इसे ठीक ही होना था तो इतने सारे दिन और रातें क्यों खराब किए मैंने? इतनी तकलीफें क्यों मिली जब रास्ता आसान ही होना था? किसी का दिल क्यों तोड़ा? किसी को यूं क्यों छोड़ा? किसी भी चीज को खुद से बड़ा क्यों बनाया? क्यों इन गुत्थियों में खुद को उलझाया? हाँ, जब सब कुछ आसान हो जाता है तो एक बात समझ में आती है। अच्छे वक्त की तरह बुरा वक्त भी चला जाता है। कैलेंडर बदलते रहना चाहिए। टिक टॉक टिक चलते रहना चाहिए। फिर सब कुछ जादू है, सचमुच जादू। थैंक यू।
This is a poem that I've written as a representation of my identity, the different places that have made me who I am. Heartbeats of the moving caravan. Heartbeats, first memory, steppes of Central Asia. I carve poems of obelisks about battles and dreams. Then the caravan calls, so I jump on my horse and leave my story behind. Present to that land, graffiti, heartbeats, Anatolian rivers. I muse with minstrels, wander with wandering fools. I listen to tales of rose gardens and nightingales, tales of true love and false hope. I dance with Rumi, his daily dervish dance of love, unity, longings apart. Heartbeats, coast of northern Australia. I get drenched in monsoon rains as I sail with Macusson fishermen trading Trapang. I get along with Wollonga man. Our friendship lives in his ceremonies and dreaming. And the tamarind trees that still grow wild along the path my caravan travelled. Heartbeats, I camp in Broken Hill with proud Afghan canaries. We make maps and carve roads on shifting sands only a nomad can stand because nomad walks and walks. Like the heartbeats of a caravan, my heart carries stories but moves forward so I can dream. So I dream. As I rest on spacious hammocks that stretch between the chestnut trees of Anatolia and gum trees of Australia, I dream like a child wanting a better future. I dream of building places through displacement, of detaching ourselves from attachments, of throwing away pebbles saved for safe returns. I dream of a new world, a
Thank you so much. And it's a huge honor to share the stage with all of you lovely, talented people. I was thinking about what I should recite today, and while I was in that turmoil, we received news that the subcontinent lost a huge literary stalwart, Amjad Sahab, last month. So I'm going to pay tribute on this World Poetry Day and Harmony Day to him. Most of you would know his most famous ghazal, "Kahan aake rukne the raaste, kahan mor tha, use bhool ja." तो उसी ज़मीन में मेरा जवाब अमजद साहब के लिए मेरी ट्रिब्यूट। मतलब यूँ है कि मैं हूँ नफ़रतों की कगार पे, मुझे रोक लो, मुझे हाथ दो। मैं हूँ नफ़रतों की कगार पे, मुझे रोक लो, मुझे हाथ दो। है मेरे नसीब का फ़ैसला, मुझे छोड़ दो, मुझे हाथ दो। मैं हूँ नफ़रतों की कगार पे, मुझे रोक लो, मुझे हाथ दो। है मेरे नसीब का फ़ैसला, मुझे छोड़ दो, मुझे हाथ दो। मैं खड़ा हूँ ऐसी मुंडेर पे, जहाँ खूब गहरी ढलान है। मैं खड़ा हूँ ऐसी मुंडेर पे, जहाँ खूब गहरी ढलान है। जो फिसल गया तो फिसल गया, अभी पास हो, मुझे हाथ दो। मैं खड़ा हूँ ऐसी मुंडेर पे, जहाँ खूब गहरी ढलान है। जो फिसल गया तो फिसल गया, अभी पास हो, मुझे हाथ दो। और जो अदावतों की वो धूप हो, या रफ़ाकतों की ये छाँव हो। जो अदावतों की वो धूप हो, या अदावतों की या रफ़ाकतों की ये छाँव हो। वो कहीं मिला तो यही कहा, कोई बात हो, मुझे हाथ दो। जो अदावतों की वो धूप हो, या रफ़ाकतों की ये छाँव हो। वो कहीं मिला तो यही कहा, कोई बात हो, मुझे हाथ दो। और मैं हूँ अहले दिल, मेरे हम नवा, हूँ मताए दिल पे फ़रेफ्ता। मैं हूँ अहले दिल, मेरे हम नवा, हूँ मताए दिल पे फ़रेफ्ता। तू है शर पसंद तो क्या हुआ, मेरे दिल बरो, मुझे हाथ दो। मैं हूँ अहले दिल, मेरे हम नवा, हूँ मताए दिल पे फ़रेफ्ता। तू है शर पसंद तो क्या हुआ, मेरे दिल बरो, मुझे हाथ दो। और हमें कत्ल करके अलीम फिर, हमें कत्ल करके अलीम फिर, हमें कत्ल होते चले गए। हमें कत्ल करके अलीम फिर, हमें कत्ल होते चले गए। कोई लश्करों का हिसाब दो, हाँ जवाब दो, मुझे हाथ दो। हमें कत्ल करके अलीम फिर, हमें कत्ल होते चले गए। कोई लश्करों का हिसाब दो, हाँ जवाब दो, मुझे हाथ दो। और इसका आखिरी शेर की, मेरे ज़हन व ज़ात है मुख्तलिफ, तेरी कायनात है मुख्तलिफ। मेरे ज़हन व ज़ात है मुख्तलिफ, तेरी कायनात है मुख्तलिफ। ये मुखालफत जो विसाल हो, मेरा हाथ लो, मुझे हाथ दो। मेरे ज़हन व ज़ात है मुख्तलिफ, तेरी कायनात है मुख्तलिफ। ये मुखालफत जो विसाल हो, मेरा हाथ लो, मुझे हाथ दो। मैं हूँ नफ़रतों की कगार पे, मुझे रोक लो, मुझे हाथ दो। है मेरे नसीब का फ़ैसला, मुझे छोड़ दो, मुझे हाथ दो। थैंक यू।
Thank you. बहुत खूबसूरत थी। I'm Shahana Chaudhary. Now I recite my own poem, and it's about my motivational speech about myself. I think it's not only for me, the motivational speech. It's the all Bengalis women's speech. Thank you. কবিতার নাম নিষ্প্রয়োজন, কাউকে লাগবে না। অক্ষরের প্রতিটা পাতায় আমি খোদাই করে লিখে দেব, আমার কাউকে লাগবে না। যতটুকু আকাশ আমার দৃষ্টিতে থাকে, যতটুকু সমুদ্র আমার সীমানায় বয়ে যায়, যতটুকু রাত নিদ্রায় অনিদ্রায় ছেয়ে থাকে, পুরোটুকুর মধ্যে আমার একার উপস্থিতি অনির্বাণ, আমার কাউকে লাগবে না। কার হাহাকার লেগে থাকে স্বপ্ন জুড়ে, বোকার মতো কাকে আমি ছুতে চাই? সব মরিচিকা, সব ধুলো ছাই, আমার কাউকে লাগবে না। অভ্যেসটা আস্তে আস্তে স্থির হবে। পুরনো দিনপুঞ্জি চুকিয়ে দিয়ে নতুন ফর্দ খুলবো। সকালটাকে সাজাবো একান্ত নিজেকে ভালোবেসে। বললাম তো, আমার কাউকে লাগবে না। টিকটিকির মতো নখের আঁচড়ে আঁকড়ে ধরবো যন্ত্রণা। বিষাক্ত সাপের ছোবলে আমি হাসতে হাসতে স্বাদ নেব অতীতের। হালকা হব, বেলা শেষে গুনে পাওয়া অর্থ পকেটে ভরে। নিঝুম রাতে ট্রেনে ওঠার অপেক্ষায় আমি ক্লান্ত হব না। আমার কাউকে লাগবে না। এবেলা শরীরটা ক্লান্ত না হলে ওবেলা শরীরটাকেও চুকিয়ে দেব তার ঋণ। মনস্তাত্ত্বিক ভাবনাগুলো ঝেড়ে ফেলবো গল্পের মতো। একা থাকার প্রবণতায় আমি বেলা শেষের প্রতীক। আমার আমার দারুণ জ্বর হয়, মাথা দপদপ করে, মেরুদণ্ডের চিনচিন ব্যথায় আমি কাঁপতে থাকি থরথর করে। তবু আমার কাউকে লাগবে না। আমি বেলা শেষে নিজের আয়নায় নিজেকে দেখতে চাই। আমি আমার মতো থাকতে চাই। আমার প্রস্ফুটিত বকুলগুলো ঝরে পড়ুক, মরছে যাক, তবু আমার আমিটা আমার হয়ে থাক। আমার কাউকে লাগবে না। থ্যাংক ইউ।
Hi, tonight is New Year's Day for millions of people around the world to celebrate a new beginning. It's been that way for Iraq and Iran for thousands of years. So anyway, this is a poem I've written. It's called One With Us. It's about my father's journey to Australia, and that we need to welcome people to come to Australia too. My father's poetic translations transport me to Poland, the land of his birth, land between the Carpathians and the Baltic, land of the Odra, the Bug and the Vistula, liquid highway linking Krakow, Warszawa and the sea, with poems of forests, fields and factories, love of nature and lovely lassies. But he left the land of his poems 83 years ago. 83 years ago, strangers from the West arrived to take, enslave, exterminate. My father's family began their odyssey to Lithuania, Russia, Japan and China, ending up here in Sydney, Australia, the city where he still lives. In Lithuania, so if Lithuania had returned them, or even if they had held them, they would surely have perished because the Nazis had marked them out for death due to their Jewish heritage. For millennia, people have fled seeking safety. A few have found the sanctuary, while many have perished. People still seek safety today. Let us not send them back to be tortured. Let us not send them back to be killed. Let us not send them mad inside our detention centres. But instead, let us open our doors. Let us open our hearts. Let us welcome those who seek our protection and invite them to stay as they become one with us.
I wish I had the confidence of this young man coming on stage, speaking without a paper, sitting wherever I want to. But ताजमहल पर जमी धूल अगली बारिशों में धुल जाएगी। ताजमहल पर जमी धूल अगली बारिशों में धुल जाएगी। और विराट भाई, ये जो नफरतों की आग दिखती है हमारी आहों से बुझ जाएगी। हमारी मिट्टी में इश्क बोया जाता है, हमारी मिट्टी में इश्क बोया जाता है। मोहब्बत का जब भी जिक्र होगा हिंदुस्तान की याद आएगी। My apologies to those who don't speak Hindi. I wish I could write in English. हिंदी में एक नज़्म पेश कर रहा हूँ जिसका उन्वान है अलग तो हैं, वी आर डिफरेंट। कि अलग तो हैं तुम और हम, जो भी, चाहे हिंदू हों या मुस्लिम, मजहब के ज़्यादा कायल हों या थोड़े कम, अलग तो हैं तुम और हम। पर अलग तो बीज और पत्ते भी हैं, फिर पेड़ क्या अलग नहीं है इन दोनों से? अलग तो बीज और पत्ते भी हैं, फिर पेड़ क्या अलग नहीं है इन दोनों से? और अलग तो बदन और कपड़े लत्ते भी हैं, फिर पैरहन क्या अलग नहीं है इन दोनों से? धरती कुछ और चीज है, मिट्टी कुछ और, आटा कुछ और चीज है, रोटी कुछ और। तारा अलग है आसमान से, जी अलग है जान से, और जीने को क्या जिंदगी से अलग नहीं कहोगे? जीने को क्या जिंदगी से अलग नहीं कहोगे? इश्क को क्या बंदगी से अलग नहीं कहोगे? बेटा और माँ क्या एक ही होते हैं? बेटा और माँ क्या एक ही होते हैं? सोच और बयां क्या एक ही होते हैं? सिर अलग है धड़ अलग, दंभ अलग अकड़ अलग, घर अलग बार अलग, छत अलग दीवार अलग, फिर भी सब साथ हैं। सिर अलग है धड़ अलग, दंभ अलग अकड़ अलग, घर अलग बार अलग, छत अलग दीवार अलग। और हम तो साहब कहते हैं कि दायां हाथ बाएं से, सुबह का साया साएं से, आदमी अपनी जात से, इज्जत उसकी औकात से, तारीफ कंधे पर थपकी से, नींद दोपहर की झपकी से, यार जो भूला है वो बिसरे से, हर पहला दूसरे से और दूसरा तीसरे से अलग ही तो हैं। हम तो साहब कहते हैं कि दायां हाथ बाएं से, सुबह का साया साएं से, आदमी अपनी जात से, इज्जत उसकी औकात से, नींद दोपहर की झपकी से, तारीफ कंधे पर थपकी से, यार जो भूला है वो बिसरे से, हर पहला दूसरे से और दूसरा तीसरे से अलग ही तो हैं। तो अलग होना तो बहुत आम बात है, अलग होना तो बहुत आम बात है। और फर्क जिनका तर्क है, क्या वे समझते भी हैं कि अलग होना तो जीवन अर्क है? फर्क जिनका तर्क है, क्या वे समझते भी हैं कि अलग होना तो जीवन अर्क है? तुम्हें अलग करना है, सन्नाटे को बियाबान से अलग करके दिखाओ, तानपुरे को तान से अलग करके दिखाओ, चांद उस्मान किताबों उन्वान मकियों मकान की छोड़ो, तुम बस मान को ईमान से अलग करके दिखाओ। तुम मस्जिदों का अजान से अलगाव चाहते हो, तुम मस्जिदों का अजान से अलगाव चाहते हो, आवाज को भगवान से अलग करके दिखाओ। तुम किस खेत की मूली हो, फसलों से अलग करना चाहते हो खेती को, जमीन से किसान को अलग करके दिखाओ। अर्ज बस इतना है मेरे दोस्त कि बंटवारे तो कर ही रखे हैं कुदरत ने। अर्ज बस इतना है मेरे दोस्त के बंटवारे तो कर ही रखे हैं कुदरत ने। रंग ढंग कद काठी देखो, इंसान तो अलग कर ही रखे हैं सूरत ने। फिर भी कैसा जोड़ है कि शव से शमशान, जी से जान और जमी से जहान, क्या इनका कोई तोड़ है? मुंह से कान अलग होकर भी जुड़े हैं ना, उंगलियां हाथ से अलग हैं तभी तो मुट्ठी भींचने को मुड़े हैं ना। सारे इंसान अलग हैं पर सबकी आंखें दो हैं, सारे इंसान अलग हैं पर सबकी आंखें दो हैं। और तुम आंखों का रंग देखो हो, तुम जीने का ढंग देखो हो, और चाहते हो कि मैं भी तुम्हारी तरह जीऊं, तुम्हारे जैसा पहनूं, तुम्हारे जैसा खाऊं पीऊं। यानी सृष्टि के नियम बदल दोगे, उसके नाम पे उससे उस्तादी, खुदा बनना चाहता है फरियादी। सृष्टि के नियम बदल दोगे, उसके नाम पे उससे उस्तादी, खुदा बनना चाहता है फरियादी। कुछ तो खौफ खाओ मेरे भाई, सब अलग हैं यही तो साझा है, फर्क को गले लगाओ मेरे भाई। उसके नाम पे उसी से उस्तादी, खुदा बनना चाहता है फरियादी। कुछ तो खौफ खाओ मेरे भाई, सब अलग हैं यही तो साझा है, फर्क को गले लगाओ मेरे भाई। और एक जैसा होना है, एक जैसा होना है तो बाहुपाश में भर लो, बाहों में भर लो, गले लगा लो। एक जैसा होना है तो बाहुपाश में भर लो, जुड़े हुए दो भी एक नजर आएंगे। हम अलग तो हैं पर किसी को पता नहीं चलेगा, सारे फर्क मिट जाएंगे, सारे फर्क मिट जाएंगे, सारे फर्क मिट जाएंगे।
Good evening. It's nice to be here with all you fine people. I'm trying to do my reading in Bengali, sixth most spoken language in the world. But I will try to give a little English version of it. The name of my writing is Prayer. It's a busy suburb in Dhaka on a corner of intersection just before the Maghrib Azan, Maghrib prayer. There is a hustling restaurant full of customers, hot and fried food. Preparation were taking place so customer can take it home for their afternoon snacks with family. One lonely little street boy, starved and pale, standing on the corner of the busy restaurant, his eyes were strained and watery. No one noticed him. People were bustling to reach home for the evening prayer Maghrib. No one noticed it. আমার লেখার নাম এবাদত। ঢাকার জিগাতলার বাস স্ট্যান্ডের পাশ দিয়ে একটা রাস্তা চলে গেছে ভিতরে। কিছু দূর যেয়ে রাস্তাটা দুভাগ হয়ে গেছে। রাস্তার একটা অংশ চলে গেছে হাজারীবাগের দিকে সোজা, অন্যটা ডানে ঘুরে জিগাতলার দিকে। ওই কোনায় একটা হোটেল আছে। বিকেলে বেশ ভিড় হয়, খদ্দেরে ঠাসাঠাসি থাকে। মোগলাই পরোটা, ডাল পুরি, সিঙ্গাড়া ভাজা হতে থাকে হোটেলের সামনের অংশে। গ্যাসের চুলার উপরে থাকা বড় তাওয়ায় আর কড়াইতে। সেই সময় মানুষের বাসা বাড়িতে বিকেলের নাস্তা খাবার সময়। ওইখানে সন্ধ্যার সময় আসরের আজানের পরে খালি গায়ে একটা ৫-৬ বছরের ছেলে দাঁড়িয়েছিল, একজন দিনহীন বেচারার মতো অনেকক্ষণ। তার কাছে পয়সা কড়ি ছিল না, কি বা করতে পারত দাঁড়িয়ে থাকা ছাড়া। কেউ খেয়াল করেনি। মাগরিবের আগে বাসায় ফিরতে হবে, সবারই তড়িঘড়ি ছিল। থ্যাংক ইউ, থ্যাংক ইউ।
Don't often write about sport, which I have with the poem I'm presenting, and it's not even a particularly great interest of mine, more just a passing interest from time to time. And even our national sporting teams, I wouldn't say I sort of follow with a huge deal of passion. One exception, though, sometimes is with the Socceroos, and maybe because of the long-time, very multicultural mix of the team, would be a factor. And so the poem I wrote was about the very multicultural feel of not just obviously the Socceroos, but also the thousands of people that gathered at Enmore Park, which was a free event put on by our local council on a big screen there to watch the game. And there were people from just about every nationality in terms of background cheering on our team. And before I do the poem, I'd like to mention Poets for Peter Shimbolo, which was mentioned in the intro, where we have a monthly poetry open mic night. And we have the pleasure to have Abbas as one of the poets in the book as well. We also have on Zoom as well as live on site at the Bolo. So now the poem. Early morning, summer chill, in an inner Sydney, deeply shaded park, pairs of eyes in thousands fixed upon a giant screen for a monumental moment in Aussie sporting history. This is not a match with limited appeal abroad. This is the world game. We are on the world stage. Early in the first half, rays of sunlight started peeping over distant treetops, shielding horizontal hands raised to foreheads, keeping clear screen view. the Socceroos' performance far better than foreseen, but the Albicelestes in the lead. The guy who scored is never Messi. But alas, that's how it got. In an awful moment for our goalie, down 2-0, our hopes seemed squashed, till one of our blokes, ever keen on good wins, scored with the help of a deflection from a white and sky blue. Then, hot on that one's heels, a chance to equalise, a penetrative run and dribble, emulating Messi, but the scoreboard stayed as is. Then one of our youngest, many of his quals still yet to come, came close to netting. The crowd kept up their hopes, glad for every minute extra time, until the final whistle that declared the tournament was over for our team. Soon were lengthy people streams on nearby residential streets, returning home or to a cafe or to a pub to talk about what could have been a quiet duty for the girls and boys in blue at a sport renowned for ugly fuggery among some followers. But this occasion showed a different way of public gathering. Diversity in unity, from all the lands on earth we come. In this park this may have been, we shared a dream and cheered with one voice for our likewise multicultural team. Alas, they've never gone beyond the top 16 on the World Cup stage. Now our focus turns to the countries in contention still. Many are the lands on earth we've come from. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much. With that, we come to an end, but to your poetry, I didn't know there was such a beautiful way of conveying sports through poetry. So well done on that, and congratulations to each one of you who's present here. Before I let them go, can I have a big round of applause for all of them? And I would request you all to please kindly take your seat. Thank you. With that, we now come to an end of this segment. However, the evening still remains. I would now take a moment to introduce an individual who is hosting our next segment. She completed a master's degree in botany from Allahabad University, India. She has been living in Sydney for the past 20 years and currently works at Services Australia. She has been a part of ICSOA since its foundation, having compared numerous events such as Qawwali, Paramasala, Hako Aman Satsak, and various Mushairas, amongst all the other events, of course. She also really enjoys hosting, and she also hosted the first ICSOA event for women in 2020, and hopes to expand the ICSOA women and youth subcommittees in the near future. Let's welcome, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome on stage Ms. Iram Rashid.
Thank you, Sawal, for pleasurable introduction. Assalamu alaikum, namaste, and good evening, everyone. So my name is Iram Rashid, and I work for Services Australia. I am a member of Indian Crescent Society of Australia, and I have done numerous events in collaboration with WACI. We Australians are Creative Incorporated. It's our pleasure to come together today and celebrate Harmony Day, a day symbolic of unity, diversity, and multiculturalism. The message that Harmony Day wants to convey is that everyone belongs. Harmony Day celebrates the core values of inclusiveness, mutual respect for one another's culture, and religious diversity. As we all know, orange is the official color of Harmony Day. Seeing it motivates people to have meaningful conversations. As we are talking about the power of a poetry and rhythm in conveying harmony, I would like to introduce two gents who are amazing poets and writers and are here with us this evening. Firstly, I would like to introduce Mrs. Rekha Rajwanshi. Rekha ji is the founder and coordinator at the Indian Literacy and Art Society of Australia. She is well-known poet and writer and is passionate about language and literature. She has authored and edited 12 books so far. Two more of her books, poetry and stories, are under publication. Rekha ji was honored by the Presidents of India in 1996 for poetry recitation along other female poets. She also won a prestigious national level OSIT award for translating Aboriginal Dreamtime stories from English to Hindi. Rekha ji was also invited to attend Tagore International Literary and Art Festival Vishwaran in Bhopal in 2019, where she was honored for her Hindi work in Australia. In 2021, Uttar Pradesh Hindi Sanstha, Government of India, honored her for promoting Hindi in Australia. Rekha ji's new book, Australia Se Kahaniyan, was published by Central Hindi Institute, Agra, just 2 months ago. It is edited by renowned Hindi writer and co-editor of Australia, Dr. Rai Kukhana of Adelaide. This book has 20 stories of Australian Hindi writers. So I would like to call Rekha ji on stage with few of her recent works. Zindagani samajh nahi aati, Zindagani samajh nahi aati, ye diwani samajh nahi aati, आँख खुलने की बंद होने की, आँख खुलने की बंद होने की, ये कहानी समझ नहीं आती. Please welcome Rekha Rajwanshi on stage. Do you want to say a few words about your book?
I would want Abbas Razalvi ji on the stage, please. And Vivek Asri. Vivek Asri, can you come up on the stage? And whosoever, because we have 20 writers in here. And Abbas Raza Bhai's story, Cigarette Ka Aakhri Kash, I read a long time back, loved it. And it's a part of this story. Vivek Asri, as you know, is a very, very good writer. Young ones, like Virat Nehru is a very good poet. So these people I know, and their work is included in here. So we have writers from Adelaide, from Brisbane, from Perth, from Melbourne, Canberra and Sydney. So this book is a beautiful book. If you know Hindi, if you want to read it, I think very soon Amazon will provide the link. But these stories, I don't think if you love Hindi, you shouldn't miss it. All the stories are very well written. That's what I'm going to say. And I'm going to give it to Raza Bhai to open it. Yeah. Since I got only 2 copies, and yeah, you can hold it. And 1 copy was taken by the minister in Fiji Hindi conference. So I'm just going to show you this cover page. Thank you so much, Raza Bhai. And Vivek, do you want to say something about your story very quickly?
Not about my story, but I would like to say something about Rekha Rajwanshi ji, whose initiated brought this book to life. It was a very important initiative. She worked so hard for this, and she worked with more than 20 writers. It's a difficult task. Ask the spouses of writers. you will get to know how hard it is to work with writers. She worked with 20 writers, and brought this book to life. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Vivek. And Raza Bhai has been a part of my journey since I've arrived here. I arrived here 20 years ago, and Raza Bhai, I remember you invited me in Guldasta. That was a very big Kavi Sammelan. Who are you? Pointing. Ah, okay. Right. All right, Sabaji is also here, I can see. All good people have been part of my life since I came here. Thank you so much. Harmohan ji is also there. Okay, Raza Bhai, just say something about your story. I would very much love to hear about you. Cigarette का आखिरी कश, ये आखिरी कश कैसे आपको याद आ गया?
Well, that story. Yes. It's not a story, it is a truth.
ये आपकी कहानी होगी मुझे लगता है, और आपके मास्टर जी ने आपके कान पकड़ के आपको ठीक कर दिया होगा. I would like to show you, this is the book. Cover page, I always like to design my own cover pages. So it's Aboriginal border I got, and most of my story books and poetry books. I have got 3 collections so far from Australian poets and writers. My past book had 40 poets' poetry. This has got 20 writers' stories. Very quickly.
And where we can get the copies?
Oh, that's published by the Central Hindi Institute, Agra. So they will send the link soon. So Dr. Shailja Chaturvedi, who is not here, her story is here in this book. Anita Baraj's story, Neerja Badhwar, Indian Down Under's editor's story, Dr. Rai Kukna, Bhavna Kuwar, Prageet Kuwar, Prem Mathur, senior most writer from Perth. I think he's about 90 years old now. And Sandhya Nayar, a very young, talented story writer from Melbourne. So Mrinal Sharma from Sydney, Sangeeta Bansal, Perth, Vivek Kumar, Espadrilles, yeah? Espadrilles. When you write in Hindi, it happens. And that's a very, very, very thought-provoking story. Maybe we'll have another session where you can, all of us, we can tell about our stories. And then Pooja Vrat Gupta, Santram Bajaj, Sydney's one of the senior most writers, and Dr. Urmila Mishra from Melbourne. I wanted to mention their names because this book is not mine book. I have edited. This is not mine. That belongs to all the writers of Australia. So I will congratulate them. And Raza Bhai, thanks for providing this platform. And this is wonderful. It was lovely to see. अच्छा लग रहा था देख के जब सब लोग अपनी पोइट्री पढ़ रहे थे. विराट तो हमारे हाँ पोइट्री स्लैम से निकला हुआ बच्चा है. So all of them, they have been doing very well. Thank you. Vivek has just won a competition, drama competition, organized by Sabaji. Yes. That will be staged in Sydney, of course.
Thank you. So can we have a round of applause for Vivek again? Thank you, Rekha Rajwanshi ji. That was amazing work done by you and all other writers in who are written their stories in the book. Thank you, Mr. Abbas Razalvi, who always giving opportunity to all of us. So he's the one who gave opportunity to, I think, everyone here. Now I would like to introduce Dr. Shabir Haider, who is from Pakistan. Dr. Haider is an extremely knowledgeable general practitioner He listens and makes decisions collaboratively with his patients and has expertise in all aspects of general practice. Other than speaking English, Dr. Shabir Haider can speak multiple languages, including Urdu, Hindi, and Punjabi. Yeah, obviously. Poetry is Dr. Shabir's passion. He is a humble poet who shares a love for humanity, helping people in whatever way he can offer. Dr. Shabir believes poetry is the best media to communicate and touch people's heart, to understand their happiness and sorrow, and encourage them to share these feelings. Dr. Shabir has recently launched a poetry book by the name of Ana Ke Neizepa. In other words, Ego Unspare. His book shows the voice of love and harmony against injustice. He has a lot of love for both the countries he was born and in Australia, the country he lives in today. He believes peace and love for humanity are key in making this world the happiest place to live. Please welcome Dr. Shabir on stage with his own poetry words. कुछ इस अदा से दिया सर अना के नेज़े पर, कुछ इस अदा से दिया सर अना के नेज़े पर, हमारे खून से मुतक्कल सवर गया होगा. So please welcome Dr. Shabir.
What happens around it, it has got no boundaries. It is city, it is country, it is world. It has got rivers, mountains, birds, animals. Poet loves everything, all whatever else. Poet hasn't learned hate. Poet identifies things and brings them to people and touch their hearts. Poetry is such a thing that one verse of poetry may be so much comprehensive
Abbas Rizalvi, could you please come on stage, please?
I write on social issues, and my spectrum is not any fixed, but whatever I see, I write. I am missing, I wrote one poem on multiculture, and that would have been quite good here. But but anyway, this one is in connection with this harmony. I read this. जफ़ा के शहर में रस्म वफ़ा की बात करें। जफ़ा के शहर में रस्म वफ़ा की बात करें। हजूम यास में हरफ़े दुआ की बात करें। हजूम यास में हरफ़े दुआ की बात करें। खलूस दिल में भरे जज्बाए मोहब्बत से। खलूस दिल में भरे जज्बाए मोहब्बत से। चुभन की बात ना ज़हरे अना की बात करें। चुभन की बात ना ज़हरे अना की बात करें। हमारा मादा परस्ती से दिल उचाट हुआ। हमारा मादा परस्ती से दिल उचाट हुआ। किसी के लुत्फ़ व करम की अता की बात करें। किसी के लुत्फ़ व करम की अता की बात करें। हवाए जुल्म की तारीक आंधियाँ हैं तो क्या। हवाए जुल्म की तारीक आंधियाँ हैं तो क्या। चराग हाथ पे रख कर जिला की बात करें। उठा के अमन का परचम मिटाएं फितनों को। उठा के अमन का परचम मिटाएं फितनों को। दुखों को बांट के कारे जज़ा की बात करें। दुखों को बांट के कारे जज़ा की बात करें। सवाले इज़्ज़त व नामूस जब भी आन पड़े। सवाले इज़्ज़त व नामूस जब भी आन पड़े। और ये मेरे अक़ीदे का मिसरा है। दुआ में पर्दाए ज़ैनब रिज़ा की बात करें। फ़िराक़े दिल को मिटाएं विसाले मैं पी कर। फ़िराक़े दिल को मिटाएं विसाले मैं पी कर। मोहब्बतों के चमन में सबा की बात करें। मोहब्बतों के चमन में सबा की बात।
I would like to invite on stage Tawfiq Sheikh, who doesn't need any introduction. I'm sure you guys watched his film 1174 and No Time to Love. What an amazing acting you have done, Tawfiq Bhai. Amazing. So Tawfiq Bhai is a filmmaker, radio presenter and theatre professional. He's a community-driven promoter of South Asian Australian artists. And Tawfiq Bhai is the director of the program for this program, Poetry, Power, Rhythm of Harmony event today. So please welcome Tawfiq Bhai.
Thank you, Ram. You should have stopped at no and doesn't need an introduction. Thank you. And yeah, now that I'm here, I just शबीर साहब बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया कि आपने इस मंच को चुना अपनी किताब को लॉन्च करने के लिए. We are really honored. Thank you. Rekha ji, thank you so much for bringing your work here, and thank you all for being present. Absolutely. Shukriya, Shabir sir. So ladies and gentlemen, and all those present who have decided to break those norms of gender, binary genders, you're all welcome today, and thank you for joining in. Shabir Sahab, I would request you to please take your seat, and we do have quite a few things happening today. So if you're noticing that we have given you some time to breathe and relax, it's only because we have something extremely energetic, extremely exciting coming up. But before I continue there, I recently heard a small little story, and which is what I do want to share with you all. This comes from my early childhood memories of trying to have a go at martial arts, at karate. There's somebody who asked me very recently, which is the hardest belt to get? Because in martial arts, usually the white belt is the basic belt, for those who know, and black is the prime of what you can achieve. So they asked me, who is more in a challenging position? Which one is more difficult, a white belt or a black belt? Any show of hands who thinks black belt is more difficult than white belt? Right. And why? It's expensive. True. White belt is more expensive for one reason, more difficult for one more reason. Because most people don't even try. Absolutely. And that comes basically with black belt. Unless and until you're not consistent, you don't reach the point where you can actually call yourself a black belt. And white belt is difficult because people try. And most people fail even before trying. So with that sentiment, I really would like you to put your hands together for everyone who had come here on stage and shared their talents. In respect, in tribute to all of them, please, a big round of applause. Thank you. There are a few set of people that I would like to call over from here, and they are mainly hand-picked and selected for the excellent work that they have done for the community in the spectrum of arts and culture. And Abbas bhai, I congratulate you for bringing these talents on stage, bringing them in front and recognizing their efforts. So before we move on to that, I would really like to take this opportunity to hand you over the mic and share with us your journey this far and why we had to make an event like this today. Ladies and gentlemen, Abbas Razalvi.
Thank you, everyone. I will not take much time because I know that our most important event after this poetry is going to happen, the release of one film for 12 minutes, which is on a very, very important social issue. And then our Qawwali group, which I'm pretty sure that at least half of the population has not listened them. They are the wonderful boys whom we introduced long, long back. And promoted by Zahid, he must be here somewhere. So I'll just explain to you why we are doing this actually work. This was a sample. I just want to give you some surprises. This was a sample we are doing it. We have an intention, and I'm sure inshallah we'll be successful with all our efforts. We did not advertise this event at all. We did not put up any social media anywhere else. We just didn't want, we wanted a selected people should come here and come to this event and understand what exactly we are doing. And I'm very proud to mention that we have a people like Honorable Larry Ferguson. Once you were coming here, you must have seen the park on his name there. He's one of the senator. Please give a big hand. I remember he basically launched my first book. And number of poetry events when he doesn't understand the single word, he has devoted his time on us. So he was very, very big support for me. And whenever I met him, and he showed me his books and his collections and everything. I have people like Kevin Gellis, who is from the Blacktown Council and making the movement in the Blacktown, which I am very much aware, looking forward what development should take in place in the hospitals and other places. We had the Lee Renan, which is a basically very, very important person in Marrickville and really moved the things exceptionally on a high way. We have a councillor, Moninder Singh here from Blacktown. We have a councillor Livingston, I saw him here. We have a councillor from Cumberland. Is she still here? Mrs. Farooqi? Okay. So we have a number of people, we have asked them, and then we have here the heads of the creative who have really devoted 3 decades developing the arts, who are not doing for promoting themselves or think they are doing the same things what we are doing. So what really we want to do that? We believe that once we have migrated to this place, we are living here, we have the children, we have the grandkids, this is our country. So we have to, thank you, we need to give something here and take something from here and certainly pass on and network the whole thing. That's what we are doing. Let me mention to you, you all know Dr. Shabir Haider, who speaks Hindi and Urdu. He is the one person who has started the first ever poetry event in Australia. He is the one who is available here. Please be able. We have a sitting down Zafar Siddiqui there, who started the first Urdu association in Australia. He is here. He is here. We all know about the Rekha Rajwanshi's work, what she has done about the Hindi language. We know what Sabha is doing it here. There's a number of you, I don't want to miss anybody. Hari Walia, our great friend, who is the first Indian subcontinent person contested in election in Australia. So these are the people Vyas Sahib is there from the UAE, had a number of you, I don't want to miss anybody. Ambuji is here, best singer in my opinion. And Avjit Sarkar, I don't want to say, I don't know where is he gone. He's a very good person who is really there devoting the time. Apart from that, we have also decided that we would like to have somebody who is representing the religions and bringing the religions together. So we have a Father Patrick here, sitting down here. He understands few words of our language also, because he was posted in Pakistan, as you know. He understands, he communicates. But he is promoting Abrahamic religion, Christians, Jews, Muslims together, doing a wonderful job. We have a Manbir Kohli from the our media who is really sitting down the radio all the time and talking. Zahid is here, Unmute channel is here, and we have from the Punjabi channel is over here. From the Bangladeshi community we have people over here. The reason was that basically we want to network and we are growing into a Sufi large event. That's what we are testing from this ground, what we should do. So we are planning a very, very large, one full day event where you can go of your choice, you can listen, play poetries. If you want in fine arts, you can do that. If you want to play some music, that platform will be available to you. If you produce the films, that platform will be to you. You just see after we go from here, you will see the film, what Harjot Singh and his group has done, that wonderful movie about the subject. I have seen his 7-8 movies he has produced so far, and they are showing it to me. Pankaj, they are all creative people here. The reason why I am taking few names and I am missing also few names here, the reason I am saying that you are the word of mouth fathers for this concept. Why we are doing it? Everywhere there is a relationships breaking, inside the country, outside the country. You see the war is keep on going on. Should we invest the money on guns and bullets, or should we invest the money on education, on our health, on our system, on our infrastructure? That's the job actually I want to give to the creative community, and I am the part of that. This is not my program, my event. It's just concept came from the whole group. They all came together. Probably I have done the 10% job, 90% done by them. And really they have done a wonderful job. And I am very much thankful, all of you. I request, please stay till the last moment. I am taking more time of you. But I am pretty sure that after you go back from there, you will certainly put up your comments on social media. How did you like this? Now I request Tawfiq to please invite all the guests.
Thank you, Boss Bhai. And rest assured, we have kept the best for the last, so don't go anywhere. You will ensure that social media is filled with your emotions after what you are about to witness. And without much ado, I will certainly call upon all the distinguished guests today, and I would request you one by one to please come over and please do felicitate our lovely professionals, the representatives from our community who have given their bloods and their time and their sweat to make sure that the South Asian diaspora can stay alive while telling their stories and living their traditions. So I do call upon Honorary Laurie Ferguson. Please come on stage. Thank you. Honorable Kevin Gillies, if you're still here, please do come on stage. Thank you. Bring a round of applause, please. Councillor Livingston Shetapalli, thank you. Please come on stage. Councillor Muninder Singh, please requesting you to come on stage. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen, for taking time out of your busy schedule, and I do know that it is election season, and despite of that, you're able to come here and spend time for stories, poetry, and culture. It really goes to show how good a politicians you are. Thank you. I have a list of few people that Abbas Bhai has handpicked, and when I saw the list, I was like, Abbas Bhai, what's common in all five of them rather? I'm giving away their numbers, right? And he said that all these people have spent at least 30 years in Australia serving the community through arts, culture, and uplifting our traditions that we call ourselves migrant Australians for. So a big round of applause for all five of them who are yet about to call on stage. One of the names you have heard recently on stage already, I will once again, thank you, you're still here. Dr. Shabir Haider. Gagan, can I request you to please come along with the group Sing SMS, who have brilliantly contributed towards all the lovely efforts that have been happening in the background. When Abbas Bhai was mentioning that people are here who are making the show happen, there's a lot of many people who are involved here as well. So representatives from Sing SMS and Gagan, if you can please come on stage along. All right, no worries, there you go. Please come on stage. We've seen this gentleman yet again on stage just a few moments back, who had mesmerized us with the opening poetry of Gulzar Sahab. He's not here with us, he has left for that. So can I please request Manbir Bhai, please to come on his behalf and accept the memento for Avjit Sarkar. Thank you. Now this name was not a surprise for me when I saw it on the list, because I would have been rather surprised if this was not. He was recently introduced just now by Abbas Bhai, and I will not waste any more time because his face is the face of Indian community in Australia, Harmohan Singh Walia. please, on stage. Kevin, can I please request you to hand over the memento to Alright guys, if you want I can get some snacks inside because your energy looks really down. Once more. There you go, it's still there, still there, still there. The next gentleman is someone who's silently served the art of music without making any noise about it, because music is all about soulful sounds and not noise. I'm welcoming with these words Mr. Bhupender Mantu. Please on stage. Thank you. I do have this one name which I am honored to call my friend, as much as he is one of the most senior most filmmakers in Sydney. Before even we thought of starting our journey, this one gentleman was actually making name for the South Asian community in the largest possible events imaginable. If it's happening, if South Asia is involved, Varun Tiwari is involved. Varun Tiwari on stage, please. Let's keep it going. Varun Tiwari deserves it. Everything that you see around here, the cameras, the beautiful setup out there, and eventually where those cameras which are going to make us look beautiful, hopefully, is all thanks to Varun Tiwari. Varun Tiwari, keep running, keep coming. Your energy, your heart, and your dance. Everyone knows about it. Thank you. Thank you, Varun. Thank you, Moninder Paji. Thank you, Livingston. Thank you, Shabir Bhai. Thank you, Gavin. Thank you. Sorry, I'll walk you through. Thank you. Thank you. So everyone, thank you for your patience. Zafar Sahab, you had something to say. I'm going to come to you just in a moment, just after I announce what we have to do next. We have to sit tight. If you want to come more centered and enjoy the screens yourselves, we're just about to play Chitta, which has been produced by KH Brothers, by my friend and my brother, who will talk more about this film himself, Harjot Singh. Please welcome you on stage. Please come and talk about your film while we prepare it and we play it. So welcome on stage. So I'll let you think for the answer for the question that I have in, why did you think Chitta was an important film to make, Harjot?
First of all, thank you everyone for being part of this incredible journey. And Chitta, it's a Punjabi word. In English, it means heroine. And the full name of the film is Chitta, the Curse of Heroin, Chapter 2. And I'm fortunate, Chapter 1 was made with my colleague and my dear friend Tawfiq Ahmed Sheikh. And that film was our first official selection in Bollywood International Film Festival. And that really got us more than 6 awards, international awards. And we are honored to say that KH Brother Films have got more than 16 international awards. Dubai International Film Festival, Singapore International Film Festival, World Film Carnival Singapore, Virgin Spring Fest, and so on. In even one festival, Virgin Spring Fest is from Bengal, and they gave us the honor of the best short film produced outside India. And this is a story of a mother who lost everything due to drugs, and a businessman who doesn't want to change his ways, but they come across each other in an unparalleled situation, and how this story unfolds is you're going to witness in a short 8 minutes film. And I hand over the mic to Tawfiq, and rest is up to you.
Thank you. And I should also thank you, Harjot, for all the support that you have given, and entire KH Brothers who has helped this event come through. All the food, all the water, all the catering that was done, it was all basically logistically handled by Harjot and Gagan themselves single-handedly, who has made sure that you don't go home hungry today. So can I request the AV to please start the film screening, and just hold on to the play button, because Zafar Sahab had called me. I cannot deny you the mic if you are requesting one. Please.
I was honored to be present on this today gathering, and I'm just for putting together the things. I am not the only person. One person can't make anything. And that time, the person who was there in for Urdu, one named Dr. Sidhu. Dr. Sidhu, he was one of the good poets at that time. Dr. Srivastava from Lucknow, and all the people were there. And I remember one thing, that Dr. Sidhu was one of the very, he used to come from long way from, he used to be on the Central Coast type, and he come to all the Urdu function and even Hindi function, everything. He was a good poet that time, but he's forgotten in the history. So I want to make sure that not only Zafar is here, he was also there.
Thank you, Zafar. Thank you so much. And with that token, I should also thank Bob Phillips, who's sitting out there in the lovely yellow shirt, the envy of my dressing code today. So I'm going to ask you where you bought that from. I love your shirt. Thank you for all the help that you've done in the background to make this show happen. Ambubaji, thank you for all your blessings all the time. You have calling you just a musician or just a singer is absolutely not doing justice to what you do, because you're more of a mentor and a teacher and a person who people can trust and move forward into their creative journey. So thank you for doing what you do. Without further ado, the lights are set, the mood is set. KH Brothers.
मुल्क मालिकुल मुल्क ला शरीक लहू वहदहू वहदहू ला इलाहा इल्लहू शम्स तबरेज शम्स तबरेज गर खुदा तलबी खुशबू खा ला इलाहा इल्लहू शम्स तबरेज शम्स तबरेज गर खुदा तलबी खुशबू खाना तेरे ही नाम से हर इब्तिदा है, तेरे ही नाम तक हर इंतहा है। तेरी हमदो सना अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह के तू मेरे मुहम्मद का खुदा है। अल्लाहू 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 ज़मीं जब न थी ये जहां जब न था, ये ज़मीं जब न थी ये जहां, चांद सूरज न थे आसमां जब न था, चांद सूरज न थे आसमां जब न था, राजे हक भी किसी पर आया जब न था, पहुँचे मेराज में अर्श तक मुस्तफ़ा। जब ना माबूद व बंदे में पर्दा रहा, जब ना माबूद व बंदे में पर्दा रहा, तब मलायक ने हजरत से झुक कर कहा, सारी मखलूक में, सारी मखलूक में हक नुमा तू ही तू गरे गा गा मा पा पा दा नी नी सा सारे रे गा गरे गा मा पा पा दा नी नी सा मा पा दा नी सा मा पा दा नी सा मा पा दा नी मा पा दा नी सा 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 सारी मखलूक में, सारी मखलूक में हक नुमा तू ही तू। के कुल है तू, इसमें क्या गुफ्तगू, खाल के कुल है तू, इसमें क्या गुफ्तगू, खाल के कुल है तू, है तू ही तू, तू ही तू, इसमें क्या कहते हैं सनम में कुछ है, मुस्लिम जे कहते हैं हरम में कुछ है, ये दोनों गलत हैं अपनी जगह, हम तो ये मानते हैं तू ही तू, तू ही तू, इसमें क्या तू ही तू, इसमें क्या है तू ही तू, तू ही तू, इसमें क्या के कुल है तू, इसमें क्या गुफ्तगू, सारे आलम को है तेरी ही जुस्तजू, तेरी जलवागरी है या चार सुन, तेरी जलवागरी है या चार, ला शरीका लहू, ला शरीका तेरी शान या वहदाहू, ला इलाहा तेरी शान शान शान, ला इलाहा तेरी शान शान शान, ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह तेरी शान शान शान, ला इलाहा रखियो भला झूलेलाल लाल मेरी पत रखियो भला झूलेलाल सिंधड़ी दा सेवन दास की शाबाद कलंदर सकी शाबाद कलंदर दमादम मस्त कलंदर दमादम मस्त कलंदर अली दम दम दे अंदर अली दम दम दे अंदर लाल मेरी पत रखियो भला झूलेलाल दा सेवन दास की शाबाद कलंदर दमादम मस्त कलंदर अली दम दम दे अंदर 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 मामा नू पीरा बछड़े देना मामा नू पीरा बछड़े देना भैणा नू देवे वीर मिला झूलेलाल हो भैणा नू सिंधड़ी दा सेवन दास की शाबाद कलंदर सकी शाबाद कलंदर अली दम दम दे अंदर अली अली दम दम दे अली अली दम दम दे अंदर अली अली दम दम चार चराग तेरे बलन हमेशा चार चराग तेरे ओ पंजमा में बालन आइया भला झूलेलाल ओ पंजमा में बालन शाबाद कलंदर दमादम मस्त कलंदर दमादम मस्त कलंदर अली दम दम दे अंदर अली दम दम दे अंदर अली दम दम दे अंदर उछड़ा रोजा पीरा तेरा उछड़ा रोजा उचड़ा रोजा पीरा तेरा 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 है उचड़ा रो है उचड़ा रो है उचड़ा रो 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 उचड़ा रोजा पीरा तेरा उचड़ा रोजा हेठ बगे दरी आयो भला झूलेलाल हेठ बगे दरी सिंधड़ी दा सेवन दास की शाबाद कलंदर दमादम मस्त कलंदर अली दम दम दे अंदर अली दम दम दे अंदर अली दम दम दे अंदर गनन गनन तेरी नौबत बाजे गनन 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 तेरी नौबत नौबत अली हैदर की नौबत प्लीज मोहब्बत बाजे गनन गनन तेरी नाल बजे गड़े आल बना झूले लालन ओ नाल बजे गड़े लालन सिंधड़ी दा सेवन दा सखी शाबाद कलंदर सखी शाबाद कलंदर दमादम मस्त कलंदर दमादम मस्त कलंदर अली दम दम दे अंदर अली दम दम दे अंदर अली दम दम दे अंदर अली अली दम दम दे अली अली दम दम दे अंदर अली अली दम दम दे अंदर अली अली दम दम दे अली अली दम दम दे अंदर अली अली दम दम दे अली अली दम दम दे अंदर अली अली दम दम दे अली अली दम दम दे अंदर अली अली दम दम दे अली अली दम दम दे अली अली दम दम दे अंदर अली अली दम दम दे अली अली दम दम दे अंदर अली अली दम दम दे अली अली दम दम दे अंदर अली अली दम दम दे अली अली दम दम दे अंदर अली अली दम दम दे अली अली दम दम दे अंदर अली अली दम दम दे
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. It's a very beautiful number. Chap Tilak.
खुसरो रैन सुहाग की जो मैं जागी पी के संग
खुसरो ने सुहाग की जो मैं जागी
तन मोरा मन पिया का जो दोनों एक ही रंग
तन मोरा मन पिया का
जो दोनों एक ही रंग।
अपनी छब बनाई के जो मैं पी के पास गई, जब छब देखी पिया की मोहे अपनी भूल गई। आँखों छाप तिलक सब छीनी रे, छाप तिलक सब छीनी रे, मोसे नैना मिलाई के छाप तिलक सब छीनी रे, मोसे नैना मिलाई के छाप तिलक सब छीनी रे, मोसे नैना मिलाई के छाप तिलक सब छीनी रे, मोसे नैना मिलाई के छाप तिलक सब छीनी रे, छाप तिलक सब छीनी रे, मोसे नैना मिलाई के छाप तिलक सब छीनी रे, मोसे नैना मिलाई के छाप तिलक सब छीनी रे, मोसे नैना मिलाई के छाप तिलक सब छीनी रे, मोसे नैना मिलाई के पातिया गम कह दीनी रे, मोसे नैना मिलाई के पातिया गम कह दीनी रे, मोसे नैना मिलाई के पल पल जाऊं मैं तोरे रंग रिझवा, 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 तोरे रंग रिझवा, मैं तोरे रंग रिझवा, मैं तोरे रंग रिझवा, ऐसी रंग दो के रंग ना ही छूटे, धोबिया धोबे चाहे सारी उमरिया, मैं तोरे रंग रिझवा, मैं तोरे रंग रिझवा, मैं तोरे रंग रिझवा, मैं तोरे रंग रिझवा, तोरे रंग रिझवा, मैं तोरे रंग रिझवा, बल बल जाऊं मैं, बल बल जाऊं मैं तोरे रंग रिझवा, बल बल जाऊं मैं तोरे रंग रिझवा, अपनी सी रंग दीनी रे, मोसे नैना मिलाई के अपनी सी रंग दीनी रे, मोसे नैना मिलाई के हाँ प्रेम बदी का मतवा पिलाई के, 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 मतवारी सी कर दीनी रे, मोसे नैना मिलाई के मतवारी सी कर दीनी रे, मोसे नैना मिलाई के खुसरो निजाम के बल बल जइया, खुसरो निजाम के बल बल जइया, मोहे सुहागन की नीरे, मोसे नैना मिलाई के मोहे सुहागन की नीरे, मोसे नैना मिलाई के बहुत कठिन है डगर पनघट की, डगर पनघट की, पनघट की, पनघट की हाँ बहुत कठिन, बहुत कठिन, बहुत कठिन है कैसे भर लाऊं मैं मधवा से मटकी, कैसे भर लाऊं मैं ख्वाजा निजामुद्दीन 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 ख्वाजा निजामुद्दीन। बहुत कठिन है डगर बन घट की, कैसे भर लाऊं मैं पनिया भरन को मैं जो गई थी, पनिया भरन को मैं जो गई थी। डोड जपत मोरी मटकी पटकी, खुसरो निजाम के पल पल जहिया, खुसरो निजाम के पल पल जहिया। मोहे सुहागन की नीरे मुझसे नैना मिलई है, मोहे सुहागन की नीरे मुझसे नैना मिलई है, मोहे सुहागन की नीरे मुझसे नैना मिलई है। निरगर निरसा निरगमा गरे गरे पारे गरे निरे सा निरे दरे ग गमा दम दा दा नी नी सा निरे दरे ग गमा दम दा दा नी सा सा नी दा दा पा पा मा गा करे सा नी दा दा पा पा मा गा करे निरे दने 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 गा 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 रे गा मा 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 गा मा दा 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 मा दा नी 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 दा नी सा 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 मेरे गा 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 रे गा मा 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 गा मा दा 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 मा दा नी 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 दा नी सा मेरे गा 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 रे गा मा 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 गा मा दा 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 मा दा नी 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 दा नी सा मेरे तेरे गा 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 मा दा मा दा नी दा नी सा 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 मेरे गा रे गा मा गा मा दा 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 नी दा नी सा 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 मेरे तेरे गा 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 मा दा मा दा दा नी दा नी सा Gamadani sa, gamadani sa, gamadani sa, gamadani sa, gamadani sa, gamadani sa, gamadani sa। मोहे सुहागन की नीरे मोहे नैना मिलई है, मोहे सुहागन की नीरे मोहे नैना मिलई है, सुहागन की नीरे मोहे नैना मिलई है। नैना 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 मोसे नैना 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 रे नैना रे नैना रे नैना रे नैना रे नैना रे नैना मोसे नैना 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 मोसे नैना 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 मोसे नैना 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 मोसे नैना 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 रे नैना रे नैना नैना रे 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 नैना मोसे नैना 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 मोसे नैना 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 मोसे नैना 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 मोसे नैना मिलाई के 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 नैना मिलाई के। छाप तिलक सब चीनी रे मोसे नैना मिलाई के, छाप तिलक सब चीनी रे मोसे नैना मिलाई।
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thank you.
All right.